Hey, what's going on, folks? This is Dmitry back again, and in this video I wanted to share with you things how real estate life, investors life is all about. To be honest, or to be more specific, I wanted to share with you my experience, how the real estate investors life changed or impacted that part of it impacted my life and how it changed it. So for you, I think it would be interesting if you're getting into real estate investing and you thinking or contemplating to go that route, to get to a place where financial freedom is, to get to a place where you got an extra paycheck, you don't need to worry about the next tomorrow and all that. So it's really specific for the people who live on commission. Honestly, I mean, there's big commission, but then there's budgeting and all that, but consistent income that you can rely on at least for a month, for sure, because at least that depending on the tenants payments and everything like that, but unless it's still more consistent income rather than commission. And depending on the deal might be a year out or whatever, because depending on the amount of money deal involves, right? So but back to the topic at hand is that the real estate investor's life is nothing really crazy or anything like that. Nothing really changed, nothing really happened so crazy or drastic or anything like that. It's not like one day on Friday evening, you're done, you did your 9 to 5, you came back home and all that, and then on Monday morning you just off to Kilimanjaro or somewhere else in Everest mountain climbing and do all that or somewhere in the space mining on Mars somewhere, some crazy alloy or whatever, all that, none of that. So it's gradual and honestly really not so impactful, but there are a few questions that you might ask yourself, and I asked myself when I began how it's going to change, what changed. I did some notes before I was doing the video, and I was like, what actually changed, what side, what is this and all that. So well, to start, the real estate investor's life, or at the beginning, not really it's not, you don't really notice it, honestly, from this outside, right? So from the standpoint of people who work closest to you will know, right? Because you probably will tell them or probably will contemplate, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, whatever. So I'm thinking, and most of the folks, they just they're say, hey, yeah, okay, sure, and then they not really put much attention to it. But then later on down the road, obviously they noticed what's changed. So, and in my life, the real estate investors journey, I would say, began really at the start, where I started getting to know about real estate. So, and there was a lot of YouTubing, obviously, so it was a lot of getting to know information and all that. So there are a few folks that really impacted my life, and honestly, it was little by little, here and there, bits and pieces, nothing crazy, but overall it grew up into a situation where, hey, this is what it is, and things like that. But I think so I got design in my heart, and that's where it all started. So but I started to I bump into that on the YouTube. Hey, about there are a few folks out there obviously doing a lot of folks in real estate. Some of them really like Stephan, meet Kevin, or Ken Pathrap, and then all other folks, so, and it's not a sponsor or anything, but they have impacted my life substantially. And Robert Kiyosaki, hopefully I pronounced it right. So sorry if I didn't. So that's those folks, Rich Poor Dad, Rich Dad Poor Dad book is a classic, obviously, most of you know that. But real estate investors life really didn't start all of a sudden cut and paste and all that. So it started gradually, right? So and right now, and started, is becomes a side hustle, at this stage, because of the stage. I think I kind of consider as a real estate investor, like, depending where you want to go. If you want to, like, just extra income, if extra, like, $100, $1,000, whatever, like, it depends on where your appetite is. And but it can become like either full-blown, your bread and butter, so to speak. And or it can be just stay as a side hustle. My plans are a little bit more ambitious, so, and I'm going that route. So more or less, definitely bread and butter type of situation, but maybe a little bit more, well, it depends. So, but at this stage, I would consider that as a growth. And so the reason I'm saying that is a side hustle, in the sense that your regular life, like, if you're like, hey, let's go, so that's it, I'm a real estate investor. Well, to be honest, nothing really changes. You go to 9 to 5, and most of the people, say, hey, I'm gonna drop the job, all that and all that. Don't do that. It's not wise at all. So it's actually very bad for your credit score and your system, and the system to where you play by those rules, where you consider those. They will consider your income, they will consider all those steps and all the things that you do at this point. And if you all of a sudden drop the job and go AWOL or whatever, all of a sudden you don't have income, so you might not qualify for the job, for the for the job of real estate investor. So nonetheless, for the credits and mortgages and all that good stuff. So, but yeah, it becomes a side hustle, in the sense that you don't really put a lot of time into it. It's way less than it can be, depending on the deal. It becomes really, so it's kind of in the sense that, hey, let's just consider this. So you want to buy a new, like, rental house, right? The time amount it will take you to buy it, it's not really a lot. Most of the time you just need to submit the paperwork correctly. If you've done it right at the beginning, you got it in the same folder, whatever, like your tax income or your tax documents, your pay stubs, all that, then you will, it will be pretty much a breeze, really. Lots of things is done for you, and you just need to provide the necessary documents for that. As long as your math is right, you should be okay. So, and like, you did the calculation right, you found the property, all that. So, but other than that, it's pretty much that. You maybe spend maybe an hour or two, maybe a week. Well, depending on the team, depending on the loan team and stuff like that. It's not really a lot. And that's at the beginning, at the very beginning of the real estate investor life and all that. So full-blown, obviously, real estate investor, you pretty much you don't really spend a lot of time, because most of the time you are looking for a deal and looking for who, like, who can supply, and then just even go for open houses in, like, maybe Sundays or Saturdays. So, but other than that, I just want to share that it's a side hustle. It's not a very big deal. You spend maybe less than maybe 2 or 3 hours a week for that, and that's basically it. If you all things in order, you don't need to do property management every day of your life. And then basically, well, if you do, it's awesome. It's good for you. Like, and it's less. You don't need to pay for property management costs and all that. But when things arise, if you need to do property management, you need to talk to your tenants. Yeah, you got to talk to your tenants. So you need to set that time. You need to have that time. Because you're basically providing service at that point. So with that said, yeah, it's not a big deal. It's really regular life, and I'm working in IT. Really, I in this area, so I don't really feel that much of a heavy weight for being a real estate investor. It's just I look at the deal. I go into Redfin or Zillow, check it out if I when I have time, you know, like kind of go, like, you know, kind of get the news, you know, really. That's all that is. And that's pretty much it. So, and the rest, if I found the property, then yeah, I just hit up my team and then say, hey guys, so I want to look at the property. When can we do this and all that? If the deal is hot, then I can shift my time, and time management comes to it really neatly, or neatly, if that's the word, and perfectly. Basically, when you can modify and put that slot in, and then you just go and see the property given team is available and all that, you know, like real estate agents and all that. So that's the first point. It's actually, I thought longer than expected for the video, I thought. But the second point that I wanted to mention is that, and I put the note here, is that what comes with it and how my life changes. And I think I already kind of hit that nail, basically, or hit that discussion, that option, is because not really a whole lot of changes. So you, well, what changed in my life is that I started to get in, like, well, obviously learning stuff. That was a big for me. I needed to learn a lot of stuff, and for me, I just open you get open with you in the sense that it took me a little time to understand how it's like gets to work. So, like, you know, a lot of people, hey, do this and all that, like, you know, and for me it wasn't settling down like a strategy, you know, like, and how it's supposed to happen, like, you know, the practical steps. Like when you hear a lot, you listen a lot, that, you know, it all makes sense, right? Like, oh yeah, that's easy. But then when you actually do it yourself, it's still different it's a different experience, definitely. And for me it was that like, until it clicked, well, for me, until it clicked when it's like, oh, you know, you got to do this and this, and then like process this process, then it kind of made sense. But then even through the process, even though I kind of knew what's going on, I still needed like that personal experience where what needs to happen in real estate agents. Wow, like, you know, if you got a good one, man, that's kudos, and that's really nice when you have a good one, because there are a lot of unfortunately real estate agents out there that really don't care, you know, even though they get money. So it's kind of weird, you know, even with that they don't care, you know, like that could have been like, you know, for some people it might as well be an ultimate point to be, you know, super customer understandingly, you know, whatever, available. But some people even don't do that. So I don't even know how to compare it. But anyway, I digress. But what comes with it, it's really nothing changes really. So for me right now, it's kind of everyday life, you know. I go to work, I do my stuff, you know, come back, you know, kind of really routine at this point. However, there is an extra option there. Like, I'm still on the lookout because I'm doing my own property management, and I'm in the stage of growth right now when I you know, kind of acquiring more properties, acquiring more business and all that. So that's a stage of growth. And then at this point, it's really subtle game, to be honest. And the reason for it is because of the funding, you know, because of all this going on, you know, mortgage rates and all that. But at this point, really, it's all about, right now, it's about mortgage rates and all. But also, to be honest, be on the lookout for a deal. So, and the deal has to be like really nice. And for me, I have a specific criteria that I'm going for in a specific market. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Really, nothing really changed a lot. But for the only difference is that I consistently on Zillow, consistent on Redfin, when the funds are available. But I want also to mention, so when I going from deal to deal, right, like it becomes as a cycle option for me, as I needed to wait to get the money so that the money can be reused, and then I put the money in, I wait, and I need to reuse it again. So it kind of becomes a cyclical kind of situation where, I put the money in, wait for a year or so, like depending on the situation, depending on the market, but usually more or less a year. And then I take it out, take that equity out, and then reuse it, and basically go from house to house, really. So yeah, and that's pretty much what what really happens. Really, the only drawback is from all this, and and that's I really recently experienced, is that when you apply for a mortgage, I don't know how that happens, to be honest. How this situation, how sending out and all that information comes to it, or how my information being sold. And I kind of noticed it not hard way, but it's really obvious. So when I submit for a loan, like really submit for a loan with some person, my personal information, such as my name and phone number, gets distributed to a lot of lenders. And one day, after recently, I actually just share with you, one day I just got 50 phone calls one day. Just 50 phone calls, which was unheard of for me, because it's kind of ridiculous. So but yeah, that's another thing that kind of changed really. So when you get into and that's as far as my experience is concerned. I don't know if your market is different, that's good for you. But if you do experience that, and if you submit for a loan, expect a lot of calls from weird numbers, and if you're in US, where I'm in Maryland, right? And if you in this area, I get a lot of mortgage people calling me hey, you want this, you want equity, and then this, you want that. And obviously I already found the deal, I found the what I'm looking for. Obviously I say no to them, or I just silence the phone number, so my phone, because it's I'm not gonna pick up all 50 phone calls, because it's kind of ridiculous. But other than that, that's the only one, I think, the little drawback there that I'm kind of still struggling with sometimes when I submit for mortgage and all that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. What I wanted to share, I think I went more than I thought I would, but so I hope that helps. So if you consider to be a real estate investor and get into that world, it's very good, it's very lucrative, and money wise, if you don't know, if it still doesn't make sense to you, hey, where's the money? At this point, where real estate investing is concerned, your money will be in the bricks. And it's kind of not literate, but it's kind of figurative speech, in the sense that when you invest, obviously your money will be reused first, and the reusage comes from the mortgage tools and the loans options that they're out there. So, and that's pretty much what happens, and how people can acquire more and do all that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So your money will keep being reused in the equity sense. So basically, you take out equity, or you take out equity from my house. I took it from my house, put it in this too. I used it. It sit there for a year. See, that's the way. That's where it comes, routine, regular job, and all that. So it sits there for a year, gets reused, and then it gets taken out, either refinance, or you put HELOCs on those. Well, I'm gonna share about the HELOCs on rental property next video. That was, man, crazy journey. And then the HELOCs, and then you take that out and put it on another property, and it just goes, it just repeats itself. That's pretty much it. That's all it is, and that's pretty much what all real estate investing is about. You can do kind of deals with your friends and things like that. I don't have that many friends, a lot, but networking is awesome. So I'm heading that direction. So that's pretty much what I want to share with you, and that's how my life has changed. And obviously, definitely, freedom of in finance was really ridiculous. I kid you not. It was available. So some of the things that become available, I pay cash for just regular car, not just my regular car, that I've been driving one car for about 10 years and plus, or whatever. And yeah, and now it's It was a time when it was like giving up the ghost for sure, and even dealers didn't know about like how to fix it, and not even like just special unique enthusiasts couldn't like looked at me like, hey, that's weird. So yeah, I thought decided it's giving up the ghost, and thankfully, due to the real estate and the tools that they provided and all that, I was able to just buy cash Mazda like 2023 like cash. And it's not a bragging about, it's just it's just awesome, the things that allowed and that allowed me to do. So highly encourage that. That's what changed in my life, and that's how it changed. So nothing really, to sum it up, it's nothing really crazy, but there are some few maybe hours here and there that you would need to deduct or like utilize and be out there, be there for your business, as a real estate is a business. So yeah, so I hope you guys it helped you to learn and see what is it about to be a real estate investor, because well, that's my experience. I just share with you, and that's it's continuous, obviously growing, and you get build relationship with people, and it's such a joy to see where when people come to you, and then you find the deal, and then they're like, oh man, we've been looking for place to live, nice place to live. And obviously if you're a good landlord, man, and it's just my goal is like I heard a lot of slappy and landlords where like they just, it's just crazy, and you're like, dude, you got like, there's money, but I mean, I understand like everything is a business, but what is more important, lives or business, like money or people, because you were there for, it's just comes to those things like, bro. And then to, when people, get satisfaction, get, like relief, so to speak, and then you provide that to them, it's being such a like conduct for that. It's just amazing. So yeah, hope you guys like this video. Like and subscribe down below. So my name is Dmitry, and yeah, I'm out. So I hope that video helped you. Let me know in comments below what you think. So yeah, if you have any questions about what changed, what to expect, what to see, and if you just have a general question, let me know in the comments below. So thank you guys for watching. Cheers. Dmitry out. Bye bye.